Hello and welcome to the Local Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Johnson. The Local Leaders Podcast provides a platform for successful business owners to share their stories, their experiences, their advice, and their ideas in order to help our listeners achieve more success in their business and in their lives. Get ready, another great show is coming up. Good afternoon and welcome to the Local Leaders Podcast. We have a very special guest with us today, straight from Huntington Beach, California, Dino Ferraro of Capones Cucina. How did I do pronouncing the name?
Capones Cucina.
Cucina. Well, you know what? I actually have a customer that is a Cucina as well, and I've been saying Cucina, and he never corrected me. So I'm going to have a conversation with him.
That's all right.
Capones Cucina in Huntington Beach, California. Dino is the founder there, and we are so excited to have him on today and hopefully gather some really good insight and ideas and information from Dino about his business and what he's done to become so successful. And we want to get that out to our audience. So Dino, welcome and thank you for being here, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and get the words to the public. How we got through this pandemic, I don't think it's over yet. I said it from last year, March, to my staff, to whoever I know, that these days are just the beginning. These are the good days. The bad days are coming, as we are experiencing in business now, that we can't get calamari, we can't get shrimp, we can't get chicken, or the prices are jumping through the roof. And unfortunately, I could see this coming. I'm not God, but it's just with all the money that the government gave out and everything that they did just to please the population, or to me, just to keep the population quiet.
Mm-hmm.
These days could be predicted that we will see bad days in the future. I think next year, by mid-year or the end of the year, it's going to be tough for a lot of businesses, for a lot of people. And let's just focus on not defunding our law enforcement. Let's put it that way.
Yes, sir.
Because unfortunately, if that happens, as we are witnessing in some areas of our nation, things are going crazy. And every day, massive shooting, many people are getting killed. And that's unfortunate that for a person that came from other country like me and immigrated here, it's sad to see, because for us, we came to United States of America knowing that this nation is different than anywhere else in the world, and seeing and witnessing what's going on in this beautiful country, it's heartbreaking for me as an immigrant, and it's a shame for Americans. It's a shame for Americans, unfortunately. So I just pray every day, and I hope that things will turn around, and I'm wrong.
Well, your point is well taken, and actually, as you were talking, it got me thinking, and I'm going to come back around in a moment and have you kind of tell your story of the start of the restaurant and how you got in it and all that. But since you mentioned it, one of the things I think that you see common to successful entrepreneurs like yourself is the ability to project or see forward and see the future. And you started right out, in this conversation talking about where we're going to get to, so that, the point of that is that you've got to prepare for that today. So are you doing anything different just yet to prepare for what may be the inevitable?
I'm just watching my pennies. I'll be honest with you. I'm watching my pennies. I'm trying to keep myself, my staff, my family safe, and do the best I can. Unfortunately, it's not easy. It is not going to be easy, but we just, all of us, we got to do the best we can to get through this. The past 10 days, I know of 11 people that are vaccinated and they tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because a lot of people, they jumped on it, they got vaccinated, and I witnessed it in restaurant. Customers come in and they go, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm vaccinated now."
Yes.
And you still get it.
And so the precautions that we were taking before with the masks and staying away from large crowds and all that, most people have fallen away from that. And I think I've heard, talk of that on the news as to, some resurgence. We were going way down in terms of COVID cases, and now it's kind of starting to move back the other way. So I get your point. And
spoke with the nurse last night. Spoke with the nurse last night that works at the ER at Hope. She mentioned we have 19 COVID patients. 19 COVID patients at that huge hospital, Hope, in Newport Beach.
Mm-hmm.
What's the percentage to the population? Do they tell you how many patients we have with heart disease, with malaria, with flu, with everything else? No, the focus is only on COVID.
Yes, sir. That's been the case from day one.
From day one.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just to create panic and to gain what they want to gain. And us as Americans, we should stand up and get our voice there and make sure they know that we know what they're trying to do and stand on our ground and fight, like a lot of business owners are doing. I mean, we stayed open last year. Yes, the first 6 weeks we were all panicked. We closed down, even though they said do takeout. I said, no, I don't want to put myself or my staff or my family in jeopardy, in danger, and stay open. So we closed for 6 weeks. Then I said, let's open up. We opened up a few weeks for takeout, and then I said, screw this. We're opening up. We open inside, outside patio. You came to us. If you wanted to eat inside, please come in. If you wanted to go outside in the patio, go outside the patio. If you wanted to order to go, great, order to go. If you wanted to stay home, order for delivery. Sorry, I don't deliver. You don't get to eat Capones or the Black Trumpet. I don't deliver. You can, get a driver to come pick it up for you. We don't deliver. I'm not going to put my money in those delivery companies' pocket. As we all know, they charge 30, 40, 50%. With the cost being so high today of doing business, especially in California, thanks to our governor, being so high doing business, business, it won't be a healthy business to give 30, 40, 50% to those delivery companies.
Yes, sir. That's been an industry challenge, across the board, and in some states worse than others, with the local taxes and things that come into play. But you mentioned the Black Trumpet, and I failed to add that in the introduction. Right. But yeah, we're talking two brands here, two successful businesses, and we'll give you a chance if you want. Actually, we can backtrack now, and maybe you could just do a quick introduction for each restaurant and kind of give us a little of the backstory. We'd love to hear how they got started.
Sure, absolutely. So Capones started in 1999. In the city of Huntington Beach, and there was days that I was the only chef, and I had a dishwasher, and at lunchtime I would serve and cook myself. And now today I have 7, 8 chefs cooking on a daily basis. I remember in the old days, my Friday, Saturday night sales was close to 1,800. Now my servers, each server, praise God, their sales is more than 2,000 per person. I'm thankful to God that got me to this point. Of course, I've worked really hard. There was nights I stayed here to 2 in the morning and washed dishes. My first job in the United States when I came was washing dishes. So I'm a true American dream. I wash dishes for $4.25, and I tell this story to all my customers because I'm proud. I share this to my boys. I have 2 boys, Caleb and Joshua, 14 and 15. My oldest just started working at Capones as a host. He's making $15 an hour as a host. I'm sorry, $14 an hour as a host. I go, I used to sweat in the back, wash dishes for $4.25. Be thankful for the $14 an hour.
Yeah, he's got it made compared to that, doesn't he?
Yeah, totally. So Capones started in '99, and we've been here for 21 years. Very successful, very strong. The community supported us during this tough time. I'm thankful for HB people, for Huntington Beach people. Black Trumpet started in 2002. We used to be located on Beach and Ellis. Black Trumpet is Mediterranean tapas, so we focus on a small plate. So there was a day that a friend of mine wanted to open a restaurant, and we went and looked at that location, and he didn't like the location. So the landlord found out how successful I was in the city. He kept calling me, and eventually I ended up taking that place. My wife didn't approve of it when I told her my idea about the different concept but Italian, because at that time I owned 2 Italian restaurants in town. It was one Capone's Italian Cucina, and the other one that I recently sold right before last year when COVID started. It was called the Mona Lisa Cucina on Magnolia and Adams. I sold that one, and now I'm just 2. So Black Trumpet is mostly tapas. I focus on countries like Italy, France, Spain, and Greece. We do some Moroccan item like chicken tagine or lamb tagine. It's been a great concept. It's flattering that many have tried to copy. They might make the plate look the same, but it doesn't taste the same, I promise you that. It's been very successful. It's going strong. That restaurant also got great support from Huntington Beach residents. I'm thankful for them. And we moved to Seacliff Village off of Yorktown and Golden West, across the street from the police department and the city hall, in 2017. And yesterday, July 19, was our anniversary. Wow. And I count my blessing every day. I'm surrounded with many amazing employees that I treat them like family, and they treat me like family. During the tough time, we try to be there for each other. We opened the GoFundMe account. HB residents, they helped out a lot. I put in some money just to make sure that my staff has food on their tables. And thanks to our Lord, we got through the tough time. And then I decided to open up. We opened up. We were busier than ever, and every day it's better than yesterday. Thank you for that.
Well, yeah, that's a blessing in
it itself.
Now, let me ask you this. This is just out of curiosity. When you decided to open Black Trumpet, what was it? Because you had you really liked the tapas idea, a Mediterranean tapas idea? Did you just want to do something different? Kind of what motivated you to open up that second brand?
Correct. So I had as I mentioned, I had 2 Italian restaurants in town, and my wife goes, why do you want to do another restaurant? We already own 2 Italian restaurants in town. I have different concept. Me and my wife, we used to go out to places and just order a few appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to do appetizers. And then I have worked with some French chefs. I have worked with some chefs from Spain. And I had my nephew on board at that time. He had the Greek knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at the French Greek restaurant in Newport Beach, so he learned how to make their kebabs, which is kind of similar to the spiedinis in Italian, but different seasoning. So we started that, and within like 2 weeks, we were in so many different magazines and newspaper, and it just killed it. It got so successful because of the concept that you go sit down, you order 3, 4, 5 tapas, and you take a bite of each. Instead of having a bowl of pasta in front of you, basically, instead of that, you get to taste so many different flavors from Spain, from Greece, from Italy, from France, that you just love to have a meal like that.
Right. Well, that as you're sitting there talking, it's making me hungry. Number one, which is probably something you do to everybody. I would imagine, but nonetheless, it got me thinking. We've got a lot of listeners in our audience who have one restaurant or one concept or one brand today. Many of whom, and I know some personally, who want to start that next one. Was it harder, easier, or about the same amount of effort to get number 2 going once you decided to do it?
At that time, actually, it was number 3 because, as I mentioned, I had the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, you had the 2 Italians. That's right.
For 6-7 years, I had 3 restaurants. I had no managers. I had no leaders. I did everything myself. I did cooking, I did managing, I did scheduling, I did hiring, I did firing. It wasn't easy, definitely. But I knew in order to get myself where I am today, I must stay focused and work hard. And I got to a point that I realized now I need managers. Now I need head chef. Now I need assistant manager. I need head bartender. So I have a gentleman named Jose that been with me for 19 years at Capones. It's been basically my right hand that I brought up. Blessed with Alfredo, who brought who I brought on board with me as a manager also, and he really set my restaurant with all the technology, taking reservation where I needed to get organized, and I didn't have the knowledge. So he's been a great help to our business to organize us. Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for it. At that point, I knew that I need help. Otherwise, I stay where where I am. And as we all getting older, we're not going to be who we were 20, 30 years ago.
Yes, sir.
So I needed that help. And thankfully, with Alfredo being on board, with Jose being with me, we are able to go forward strong. I'm thankful for them.
Well, it almost sounds like, and you tell me if I say this incorrectly, but it's almost like once you had number 2 and then you went to the 3rd location, the 3rd business essentially, and it kind of forced you at some point to say, I can, no mas, I can do no more. I need to start looking at help. Otherwise you would have, ultimately worked yourself to your grave, probably. Right. trying to keep 3 restaurants going without relying on other folks.
I interview a lot of people that go to culinary school. They call me up. They want to talk to me about what do I think about them becoming a chef. I tell them straight forward. Don't do it for money, because you can sit in front of the computer and become a computer designer or whatever.
Right.
And make a lot more money and make easier money. Do this because you have passion for it, because your passion will bring the money. I worked so many years, and I remember from the beginning, I was paying myself $1,000 a month as the owner of the restaurant. I was single. I ate here. There was nights I was so exhausted. I slept here. It got to a point I could afford paying myself $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
And then, more and more, I watched every penny. As a restaurant chef owner, you have to have passion for it. That's in every business. If you only think about money, I don't believe you can get successful. You have to put your heart, your soul into the work that you do in order to get paid back. And that's what I did for 28 years, 29 years since I have had my own restaurant. I really wanted to get where I am today. I really had a goal, and I didn't let anything stop me. My best friend was getting married, about 18, 19 years ago. He asked me if I could be his best man. I said I would love to, but it will be after 10:30 at night.
Mm.
I made it to his wedding. It was in San Clemente around 11:15. It was a Saturday night, busy night, and I had to work. My business always came first.
Yeah.
My family had family gathering, had parties. You coming? No, I have to work. I come at the end of the night. Always tried to make it there, but it was late at night.
Yes.
I had a goal. I wanted to reach that goal, and I didn't let anything stop me. When you do the restaurant business, you're a chef, you do restaurant business. When you have passion for it, I have got to a point that I love to open restaurants. I'm not, because my wife doesn't want me to. And when you're married, things are different. It's not for the financials that I want to open the restaurant. It's because the challenge.
Mm.
I know if I do it, I can get it successful. I know if I do it, I can get it going. I always start with the minimum overhead. I open my restaurants in the worst location of Huntington Beach, and I make them big. Then I move to the best location in Huntington Beach. That's how Mona Lisa started. That's how Black Trumpet started. That's how Capones started in the 90s in city of Westminster. We had not the best location, but look at our location and our reputation here after 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have done great, and we've been blessed.
Well, when you start up, you just don't have the revenue stream. You first off, you have no idea what you're going to do. You can project, and you can come up with, we're going to have, we're going to serve 1,000 lunches and 2,000 dinners, day one forward, and you can project all these great numbers. But managing your expenses is critical.
It's critical.
And keeping them as low as humanly possible. Even going to the food truck route. A lot of people choose to start in a truck or a food trailer.
Right.
Just to minimize that rent payment and the commitments that come with, the building. So I think that's great advice, especially for an aspiring entrepreneur or an aspiring restaurateur, to really think hard about, have I tested my concept as inexpensively as possible, before I throw every dollar I've got in it. Let's keep it down as low as we possibly can and make sure it's going to go. And as it grows, then you start moving up. It's like George Jefferson moving on up, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's I think great advice. For anybody, whether they're starting a restaurant or whether they're starting a business, is to watch your pennies, as you put it early on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about, just for a minute. I mean, you've covered actually a lot of different areas with sharing your story. Let me ask you this question, kind of about leadership. Now that you've grown to the point that you've went out and you brought in managers, you brought in help, as we talked about earlier. What do you see your role as today, and kind of how is it different from? Of course, I know how it's different from before. You were cooking, you were cleaning, you were managing, you were hiring, you were firing. So what does your day to day look like now as a leader?
I still come in every day. I still have my chef coat on every day. I still go in my kitchen every day, and I go around and speak to my customers. I say hello and make sure they're enjoying the food. I go from restaurant to restaurant constantly throughout the night. The two restaurants I have, Capones and the Black Trumpet, they're about a mile and a half far from each other.
Gotcha.
On a weekly basis, I fill up my gas tank twice. Just going back and forth too many times. I also live about a mile and a half, 2 miles away from both restaurants. I don't live too far, and I don't live Huntington Beach. If I do, I get lost. I've been in the United States for 38 years, and if I leave Huntington Beach, I go to Garden Grove, I go to Anaheim, I go to Los Angeles, Long Beach, I get lost. I spend all my time in my kitchen. So I'm still active, and I'm planning to stay active. I love the business. I was born in this business, and I will die in this business. I will go around, talk to my customers. I have customers been coming to me over 20 years. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that I have seen their kids born, and now the kids are as tall as I am. Not forgetting my oldest son at 15, he's 2 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
I'm 6'1", he's 6'3".
Yeah, I saw your sons on your website. I think it was a few years back, but
that was a few years back. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Now he's 15 and he's 2 inches taller than me. I'm 6'1", he's 6'3".
Oh my gosh.
So, no, I'm still active. I'm planning to stay active. I would like one day my two great guys, Alfredo and Jose, take over the business. But I'm not planning to completely 100% retire. I love the business.
Yes, sir. I understand. Well, when you're passionate about something, it's hard to let it go too.
Definitely.
Yeah. And what else would you do if you did if you didn't have there to go?
You get on the ladder and you fall down and break your funny bone. I came to work on a Saturday night with my chef coat. Something needed to be done on the roof. I'm not a handyman. I go on the roof, get frustrated because I couldn't fix it. I'm coming down, I put my left foot on the ladder went left, I went right. So I shattered my funny bone. So now I'm a handyman with one hand and a chef with one hand.
Goodness gracious.
Now you can imagine that.
Yeah, I imagine you're a sight now in the kitchen with the knife and you start getting it going.
Yeah. It didn't work. I tried to clean a filet mignon the other day. I was in so much sharp pain in my arm. I said, "Forget it, guys. You take it."
Well, it's a good thing you got good. It's a good thing you got good help.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to touch on maybe a couple of industry challenges. We already talked about COVID, and we talked about some of the negative components of that. Everything has been negative in a way. However, what I've seen with a lot of our restaurant owners is, there's been a massive shift since COVID for, the takeout, the off-premises dining. You said you're not doing the delivery services because the fees have gotten so exorbitant, and 30-35% is I guess the norm, at least in some parts of the country, and you're talking even higher numbers. But has it been a struggle to adjust to this changing landscape of more diners eating outside the restaurant than in? Has that been a struggle at all, or were you guys able to adapt?
Yes, definitely. Because at the beginning we had all these tables and chairs that they weren't for outdoor. So we basically moved everything from inside our restaurant to outdoor to get our guests comfortable to come in and sit outside, the ones that wanted to sit outside.
All right.
Eventually, we were able, thank God, to purchase some umbrellas, some outdoor table. You needed more staff to transfer the food from indoor to outdoor. It was a struggle at the beginning. You needed different equipment because we're not set up for takeout. We're not a takeout restaurant.
Right.
Yes, we do 20, 30, 40, 50 takeout a night on average in the past. That's different than doing all takeout. Mm-hmm. So we needed to replace some equipment for still being able to give good quality food and tasty food. Now we are set up for takeout and dining. We didn't have enough counter space. We needed to train our staff to pack properly. All that details needed to be paid attention to in order to maintain Capones and Black Trumpet reputation. Yes, we made some mistakes. Maybe you ordered 2 items, we gave you 1, but we have got it to a point that we are moving forward strong with our takeout and dining and outdoor.
So now it's just a different model now, I guess.
Just a different, yes, just a different model.
Yeah. So do you see that ever going back to where it was, or do you see it staying where it is now in terms of dining preferences?
Unfortunately, I hope we go back to the way it was. It's gonna take some years. It's gonna take some years till we get used to the coronavirus. Coronavirus is like the flu, stronger version, definitely. But it's not going anywhere. I don't believe it will leave us. It will be with us forever. We just have to learn how to live with it and how to move forward in life. I'm afraid to say I hope I'm wrong. I don't see restaurant business will ever be like the old days. As far as help goes, as far as the way you run your business goes, even finding help is very difficult now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I used to get paid $4.25 to wash dishes. Right. I pay my dishwasher $20 an hour, $18 an hour. I still have hard time finding them.
Yeah.
And I know California is expensive to me, but everything, even taxes are higher, everything. And it's always been a question to me that where is all that taxes go? Me as a small business owner, couple restaurants, I pay about $120K a month in taxes only. Mm-hmm. As 2 restaurants that I own, that's a lot of money. Where is all this money goes? Does our leaders get to fly on private jets and go to nice dinners and do this and do that with yours and my money? It's unfair, that we have to work harder. We have to cut corners, but they get to do whatever they do. Unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong, I don't see restaurant business ever be what it used to be.
Well, it's a shame, and I'm just kind of taking a straw poll on that. People I'm talking to, I'm asking, and I'm hearing a similar response across the board. Is that it looks like we're kind of where we are, for at least for the near term, and maybe it goes back to more dining on site as opposed to off premises food. But who knows? Right now,
only if they have a right vaccine.
Yes. Yeah, that would make a big difference if we could just knock this thing out for good. And
right. And that takes years.
Yes,
That would
sir.
take years,
Yes, sir.
not 6 months or 7 months. Every vaccine is tested in the lab 5 to 10 years. I asked a doctor that. He goes, yes. I go, this vaccine wasn't tested 5 to 10 years. So do we know the side effects? He goes, no, but we will know in 5 to 10 years. They're testing it on the population.
Exactly. That's exactly what we did. Well, you mentioned one of the big challenges that a lot of our listeners have. So I'm just going to ask you about it. I don't know that anybody has the answer just yet. And I think if we did, we would be multimillionaires pretty quick. But how do we address the staffing issue? And can we? Because nobody has enough servers. Nobody has enough back of the house help. It's just almost impossible to get enough people to really keep up with your demand and keep your quality where you want it to be and your wait times as low as possible. Any great insight or ideas that can help others maybe on the staffing side and helping them find help?
I believe there are two major reasons. One is all the money that they're getting, the public is receiving for not working.
Right.
That should stop. And the second reason is there are some people that are so panicked that they don't want to leave their house. They want to stay home. They know government is paying them. I don't know for how much longer. Our government can afford borrowing money from China to pay us.
Mm-hmm.
I think if that stops and they can come up with a good medicine or a vaccine, that could help the situation. There are many don't want to come to work because they're panicked. Every time the numbers goes up, I do, employees because they're afraid to come to work. Right. Or employees, they have a runny nose or they're coughing a little bit. They call us, please don't come in.
Yeah, don't, please.
Please don't come in. And right. Of course, there are always some take advantage of the situation and just fake it, I think as long as they're getting paid and as long as we don't have the right medication, the restaurant business will not go back. We come to work every day with fear. We come to work every day with doubts that is all our employees going to show up today. Yesterday at 6 a.m. I had a call. One employee called me sick. Mm-hmm. At 11 a.m. I had another call from the other restaurant. Another employee is in the line to get COVID test. Thank God he was clean, negative. But still, last night I had to work at both restaurants with one less employee. Yes, you have to be understanding. You don't want them around your other staff, but at the same time, you have a business to run. This is going to be going on for as long as we don't have the right vaccine or right medication.
Yeah, and I think too, educating the public about that challenge is important as well, because you see it in the reviews, the online reviews that are out there. You oftentimes see, hey, we went to so and so place and they were slow as they could be. I never had to wait so long, for my meal. And they give them a 1 or a 2 star. And what the general public doesn't think of often enough is that, hey, we're running at 70% staff. Yeah,
minimum staff. Unfortunately, we see it all the time. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Alfredo had a situation last week. I felt so bad. The customer was so mean to him and my host. And it was the customer's mistake. The customer had his son place the order. So they wanted 2-sided vegetable. When they picked up the food, they got home, there is no sided vegetable. He comes back almost screaming at Alfredo and the host that I'm going to put a Yelp review. I'm going to get all my friends to put a Yelp. Every time people tell me that, I go on. Get all your family, all your kids, all your neighbors to give us a 1 star. That's fine. For so many years you came here, you were pleased with us. You never gave us a 5 star on Yelp. One time we forgot to put your vegetable in your bag. You were upset like to this point.
Mhm.
And it wasn't our mistake. His son forgot to order the vegetables.
Ah,
They were never charged. I went to a great restaurant in Seal Beach. Me and my wife and family, we've been going there for years, Wolf's Wharf on Seal Beach, Maine. We were greeted by a great host, great server. She started us, she got us our drink, she took our orders. We never saw her again. We were early enough. She took our order. The room got packed. She was the only one serving.
ah,
I'm in the business. I understand that. I see it's happening everywhere, in every business, not only restaurants.
right.
People are short-handed. People cannot find staff. Last week, I spent $1,200 on ads on ZipRecruiter, on Indeed, on Craigslist to hire a staff. I had no one. They know better. They send you their resume. You reply, email, text message, phone calls. You never get to speak with anybody because EDD is requiring them to search for jobs.
Yeah.
They show EDD that they're searching, but they're not getting a response. We are responding to them. They don't want to come to work.
Yeah, that is.
So it's crazy. Everybody is working with minimum staff. So please, folks, be understanding when you go out. We are short staffed. We're trying to do the best we can. If we keep you 10 minutes longer at the table because the server is supposed to serve you is overwhelmed. The cooks that are cooking are overwhelmed. Please be patient. Unfortunately, there are people, they still live in 10 years ago when everything was perfect.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, we're trying to get that word out as best we can to the general public, but it's a slow process, and there's plenty of people that still expect perfection. And that's why today with the online review piece, they can really hurt you, and they know it, and some people are willing to do it, and I hope that we can get people to listen and be more respectful and more understanding of where we are.
Yeah.
Well, look, we are coming up on about 50 minutes of our talking. I know you've got dinner over there to serve. Is there anything you want to? Let me ask you just one last question first. Are there any growth plans for Black Trumpet or Capones? I know you talked about retiring and moving on at some point, although you'll always be, somewhat involved. You have any expansion plans or new ventures that you're thinking about launching now?
Yes, I do have plans to remodel the Black Trumpet, relocate my bar, and open up the windows to kind of slide in or sliding up, so people can sit on the outside and inside. It all depends on the future of our country, honestly. Depends on which direction we're going. If things changes by end of the year, hopefully, whatever I said, I'm wrong. If things goes different than what I'm thinking, I'm starting my remodeling for Black Trumpet in 2022. We are working on the plans right now to do the remodel and expand our kitchen. We are so busy, but our kitchen is small, so it needs expansion. I hope we can do that. But if I see things are not going how most of us wanted to go,
right?
There is no reason to waste your money on remodeling.
Understood.
But I pray for better days to return.
Absolutely, and I know you'll continue to be a success there. Any last thoughts or ideas or suggestions for new entrepreneurs that you'd like to tell them before they make that decision to go forward?
Of course, stay focused, have faith, and believe in yourself. Just figure out what you want to do and move forward towards your goals. It will happen. It will happen. I promise you that.
That is.
If I could make it happen with doing $4.25 washing dishes, you can do it today with $15 minimum wage.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you so much for being here. I just want to reiterate that that we're talking to Dino here, and he's got the 21 years with Capones Cucina, as well as the Black Trumpet. And those are timeless restaurants now, or are going in that direction in Huntington Beach, California. So if you haven't been there, get there. If you've been there, get back soon. They're waiting on you. They're ready to rock and roll. And Dino, you've been fantastic. I appreciate you taking time to talk to us and to help our listeners with your great story and your ideas and suggestions and comments. And I love the focus, faith, and belief in yourself. I think those are fantastic. We might title this podcast with that one.
Thank you.
But yeah, we really appreciate you being on. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And for all our listeners, please come back to Local Leaders Podcast. We'll be releasing episodes 2 per week, one on Mondays, one on Friday. We're going to continue to do that. So we hope you'll come back and listen and hear more stories from people like Dino. And again, thanks, Dino. And we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.